Islam 21C brings to you 20 brand new unique series from renowned and respected shuyukh from across the globe, with one mission: to bring Muslims together in an online congregation never seen before in history, and lift the spirit of this Ramadan to bring us closer to Allah more than ever.
Man is left with no way of knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala other than by virtue of his names and his majestic attributes that he gave himself and gifted humanity with.
We want to raise our children in the most perfect way, and perfection belongs to Allah. If a person comes to you whose religion and character pleases you, then get your daughters married to him.
It's not going to be easy, but Allah never leaves you alone. That's the essence of what we can get from the Prophet's life.
It's my pleasure, it's my honor to introduce Quran recitation from the Imam Jazari Institute.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله.
Now just think with me about the verse where Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُمْسِكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ أَن تَزُولَا.
We'll start with an easy one for you, Sheikh, inshallah. Can I postpone Taraweeh until the last third of the night?
Yeah, so essentially the night prayer is offered after Salat al-Isha, and you have until Salat al-Fajr to offer that.
We're all linked together in this. And that's really what empathy is. I mean, empathy in Arabic is like ataf, atuf, to tilt towards, to move towards.
Conveying insults. You know, the Arabs had a saying, "Ma shatamak illa man ballagak." The one who insulted you is the one who conveyed the insult to you.
There can be no more greater relationship of a husband and a wife than the Prophet ﷺ and Khadija.
We don't just leave that piece of knowledge that we've received just there on the page.
This virus is a mercy for us Muslims, because the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us in a hadith that when you are afflicted with something, it's an expiation of your sins.
Down to earth like gravity, imagine me trying to turn my dreams to reality.
Allah Jalla wa Ala mentioned those who come in the front. وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. They are the most successful people.
How we can embed the love of the Quran in the hearts of the young generation.
Welcome to the online masjid. Sign up now for your personal access to 300 plus free on-demand.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبع إحسانه إلى يوم الدين. I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to the daily Q&A with us, Islam 21C. Alhamdulillah, we have our beloved Sheikh Shaqur with us. Alhamdulillah. For those of you who do not know what's going on, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can send us your questions either through these platforms, or you can go to daily Q&A at islam21c.com, and we can ask your questions. This platform is for you to ask any questions you have, even if you're embarrassed to ask the mashayikh face to face. Like sometimes I am embarrassed to ask Sheikh Shaqur, so we just type it and we will not know who it is. So if you want that privacy, we can give you that privacy as well. Alhamdulillah. Sheikh Shaqur, are you with us?
Alhamdulillah, I'm with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. كيف حالك Sheikh? How are you? How is Friday for you? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, very good. I was out with the kids a little while ago. We were walking in the forest. A lot of people out and about walking around today. So nice to see. Even up the top of my road, there's people having a get together on the street with social distancing in place.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So they're having a barbecue or something, 1.5 meters aside?
Standing around with a drink in their hands and talking, non-Muslims, and majority of them were white, if not all of them, standing on the road just talking to each other. But you could tell it's some kind of party.
Allah Mustaan, Allah Mustaan. How is your fast going so far, Sheikh? Subhanallah, 15th, 16th day already, Allah Mustaan.
15th, ya akhi. You started early?
Yeah. I follow a different timetable, Sheikh.
This is different to everybody. This is not good for you.
Yeah, it's 15th already, Sheikh. Subhanallah. I was speaking to my mom, and may Allah bless our mothers, and it was, I think, the 3rd day of Ramadan. And she was already saying, says subhanallah, that it's going very, very fast. Because she's senior, I was just checking on her how it was for her. And she was saying it's going too quick, son. It's too much. I want it to last longer.
MashaAllah. May Allah preserve her and preserve our mothers. MashaAllah.
Ameen. Okay, should we get into it, Sheikh? Should we get for the first question, inshallah?
Yallah.
It's maybe related to the party, but this is to do with the beach party. So one of the brothers is asking, Assalamu alaikum, is it possible for a Muslim to go to the beach? This is sent to us via an email, alhamdulillah. From Shahidur Rahman.
It's possible to go to the beach. We've all been to the beach. Sahih Nikma. We've all been to the beach.
Yes, we have, alhamdulillah.
But you need to be careful.
We need to clarify. We need to be careful, Sheikh.
Yeah,
what type of
we
beach?
Need to be careful what type of beach and where. Right, so there's some beaches where it's nice and empty and there's not many people there at all, let alone people being not dressed properly. These are things that we need to avoid. So someone who has difficulty already in lowering their gaze and can't follow lowering their gaze or follow, finds it very difficult, then someone like that shouldn't go to such places at a time when they know many people will be there. Now, right now, the law is about to change slightly. I think Boris Johnson is going to announce something of easing the lockdown to some degree on Sunday night and Sunday evening. Right now, if it's allowed for us, then one could go to the beach nice and early because Fajr's early, sunrise is early. At that time, if you were to get to the beach around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, hardly anyone's going to be there, if anyone. And you could be alone at the beach and enjoy your time there for an hour, 2 hours before anyone else considers going there. So in and of itself, going to the beach, there's no issue with it. It's part of Allah's earth. But what happens at that particular beach and etc. And the type of person you are, especially if you're going by yourself. Shaitan is always closer to someone who is alone than one who is in a group of righteous and pious people, or even with their family, etc. So that may change the ruling specific to you. So, at the end of the day, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah as much as you can and be true to Allah. وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. Be truthful between you and Allah. So if you know it's going to be difficult for you to lower your gaze, then don't go. Or go at a time when you know no one's going to be there. But otherwise, in and of itself, going to the beach, take your family, go at a time that there's going to be very few people there, so you can enjoy your time there. Like I was with my family today, walking with the kids in the forests, and you had people dressed properly and people not dressed properly. But when you're in your gathering, you're more likely to be better in your observance of Allah's hudud or Allah's limits. I hope that answers.
Thank you so much for in the depth and the details of the answer. And also I like the fact that you used yourself as an example, saying that I myself with my kids, my dear viewers and listeners, please don't think that the mashayikh, they are like straightforward, and Islam is not like that. Part of our Islam is to enjoy, Allahumma musta'an. I think maybe this was alluding to that type of mentality, Sheikh, that can we enjoy? Can we enjoy our lives? Of course we can. Come on, Allahumma musta'an. Anyway, next question, Sheikh. Can you advise how we can use this Ramadan to stay healthy? We have too much beautiful food to break our fast with, and after such a long day of fasting, it's too difficult to not have that beautiful food. I think maybe one of the brothers his fitna is food, Sheikh.
لا بأس يعني. Allah said كلوا واشربوا, but then he added ولا تسرفوا. So eat and drink is good for you, especially after the long fast. You should eat and drink. At the end of the day, when you start remembering, and we all love our food, and alhamdulillah, I love my food. Yeah, I love my food. My wife is a very good cook, mashallah, and I love her food.
May Allah bless her. May Allah bless her.
Just yesterday, the food that she made, it was too enticing that I was eating, and I felt I ate too much. So, yani, you have to think, what am I going to do next? Right, what I'm going to do next is my taraweeh, my qiyam, my qira'ah of Quran. If you think about your next deed, you will then limit how much you eat. And it works for me. Okay? If I don't think about what I'm going to do next, then I will enjoy and relax and eat as much as I want to eat. But when I think, you know what, I need to stand in qiyam now, I need to stand in taraweeh, and I need to do this and I need to do that, then I eat in accordance to the things that I want to achieve. So I find this works very well with me. Others is different, you know. But at the same time, remember, these are blessings of Allah. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he mentions صائم الشاكر مثل الصائم الصابر, that the one who eats from the bounties of Allah and thanks Allah for those bounties is like the one who is fasting and patient. So, and if you are thankful for the bounties of Allah, then just imagine you could get that reward as well. So I think, yani, do what works for you, because not the same thing works for every single person. Just remember your goal. Okay, if you remember your goal, which is, I want the pleasure of Allah and to maximize my night, then I don't think you will eat too much. Because if you want to maximize your night, every one of us knows when you eat too much, the next thing you're going to be doing is taking some Z's. Yeah, you're not going to be doing much else. So if you keep that in mind, then I think you'll be fine. As for eating healthy, I'm not a dietitian. It's not my field. Yeah. So what I will comment on is, as Allah says, "Kulu washrabu wala tusrif." Eat and drink of the bounties of Allah, but don't go to excess. Don't go to excess.
Ahsan, Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. Subhanallah, you know, maybe sometimes we don't remember those people who actually put the food in front of us, our wives. May Allah Jalala bless them and give them the full reward as well, inshallah.
You remember them so they give us the better meal the next day. You haven't learned this trick yet.
No, alhamdulillah, Shaykh. Even, yeah, alhamdulillah. I'm trying to learn, Shaykh. The next question, Shaykh. Does Zakatul Fitr have to be for Muslims only, or can it be given to anyone?
Zakatul Fitr you should give to Muslims, and you should, there's so many needy Muslims anyway. If you try to give to every Muslim, you would not have enough to give to them. So give your Zakatul Fitr to the Muslimin, and give charity in general to the Muslims and to anyone who asks you who's needy, and to any causes. But your zakah, your Zakatul Fitr, focus. There's so many Muslims who are in dire need, that if we can fulfill their needs, because no one else is going to take care of their needs more than their brothers and sisters. And as Allah said, "Inna hadihi ummatukum ummatan wahida," this is your ummah, a single ummah. Feel for them and give them priority over everyone else.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. For those viewers on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please write your questions down, inshallah, and we can ask them straight away. If you want to email us, you can email us at dailyqa@islam21c.com, and inshallah we will put your questions forward to the Shaykh. There's another question here. I've tried to brush my teeth twice a day. Use mouthwash. I have been fasting. Also, what to do if you don't brush your teeth after suhoor because you don't want to, or because you are afraid that you will accidentally swallow water? So what should I do about my bad breath?
First and foremost, the Prophet ﷺ used the siwak, yeah? And the Prophet ﷺ used the siwak while he was fasting as well. So that is something allowable. There's no issue with using the siwak, which means if you want to use your toothbrush, use it without toothpaste, which is the safer option, and that you can use as much as you like during the day. You can use it for every salah. You can use it when you wake up. You can use it all throughout the day as you want. Yeah, so there's no issues with that. The issue of controversy and some difference or dispute is whether you can use it with toothpaste, and you're trying to be cautious anyway, which is good. These types of issues you should remember. وَلَخَلُوفِ فَمِّ الصَّائِمِ, as the Prophet ﷺ said, the smell that comes out of the fam as-sa'im, the mouth of the fasting person, is more beloved and sweeter to Allah than musk. So remember that blessing. Yeah, you may feel uncomfortable. Remove it with just using the toothbrush without anything on it. Yeah, and the rest of it, leave to Allah. Leave to Allah. And get over that feeling that you have, that internal feeling. For the sake of Allah, you'll increase your reward. Okay, so focus on what is more beloved to Allah and get away from that which you find you need to do or want to do, or that which is beloved to you. And this is the ruh, or the spirit of Ramadan. Giving up what you want for what Allah wants. So exercise it even in this part of your fast, and you will find that your fast has more quality in it, and inshallah more reward in it than before, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. A brother on YouTube, mashallah, Jamil1985, who's still watching, he says, mashallah, it feels like streaming from Afghanistan. You're welcome. Yeah, we bring you Afghanistan all the way from Afghanistan to your doorsteps or into your houses. I don't know what he means by that, Sheikh, but anyway, you're welcome.
Nice Afghani hat, mashallah, and your Afghani dress, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. Next question I have, this is quite serious, Sheikh, subhanallah. May Allah protect us. I've had a pornography addiction since my early days in school. What do you recommend for me to get out of this sin, subhanallah?
Get rid of, first and foremost, your intention has to be for the sake of Allah, yeah? Secondly, having that clear goal that I must abandon this sin. It is a must, it's not an option. Okay, it's not an option. The problem with living a life where you're between ta'ah or obedience to Allah and ma'siyah and sins is that you don't know when Allah is going to take you. Is He going to take you in a moment of ta'ah, in a moment of obedience to Allah, so you will be blessed? Or will you be unfortunate and from the wretched because you were taken in a time of disobedience to Him? So increase your fear of Allah. That's the first thing. How do you increase your fear of Allah? Be around righteous people. Have the company of righteous people. Okay? Use your time, spend it with the book of Allah. Most of the people who are into this addiction, you'll find their recitation of the book of Allah is very little. Okay? If you occupied your time with recitation of the book of Allah and memorizing the book of Allah, you wouldn't have time for this addiction. Then some other practical steps. Take away devices which you use for this addiction. So if you have a smartphone and that's a route to that evil, get rid of it. Get one of those brick phones, replace it. You can't control yourself, aid yourself to control it by taking away these things from your life. Yani only use a computer in the presence of others so that you don't have that avenue. So you cut off the avenues to the sin as well. Also, on top of that, yani, don't expose your sin. Don't expose your sin. But at the same time, give yourself, whenever you commit a sin, something that hurts you, yani, giving away a lot of money because you committed that, like a fine for yourself by doing a good deed and giving a certain amount in charity that hurts, so that you feel the pinch whenever you actually commit that sin. Okay? Remember that if you continue in such a sin, Allah is going to expose you. First in this world, and then the worst of it, exposure for the sin and being a criminal in front of the whole of creation, Yawm al-Qiyam. Before all of that, yani, keep asking Allah for aid and help to stop this sin. May Allah give you tawfiq. May Allah protect all of us from this sin and similar sins to it. May Allah protect our youth and allow them the halal of marriage instead of these types of addictions which take away from all the kinds of blessings that Allah has in store for us.
Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. And subhanAllah, just a follow-up question in regards to that, regarding good companionship. There's many ahadith that talk about this as well, Shaykh. But in this isolation that we are currently in, how would you advise us to be in good companionship?
With all the devices and the technology that we have, we can still communicate with our friends, our families, and everyone. So having that companionship, if you can't have that companionship it physically now because of the isolation, then at least use the technology that's available, have regular calls. I think there's more duroos online than ever at the moment than I've ever witnessed in my life, and so many free duroos and courses and lessons and reminders, etc. So really you can have that companionship. It's not exactly the same, but something is better than nothing. And then inshallah on Sunday we're going to have a reduction in this lockdown, so then you can up the scale of that to whatever is conducive to you. And even if, like these people on the street that I saw earlier today, you can meet in the street and stand 2 meters apart and you can talk. What's the harm in that? Okay, so many people are doing this, there's no harm. So be in the companionship of these people, be in regular touch with them. That's what it is.
Excellent. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Or they can watch online masjid on islam21c.com and read some articles there, inshallah, some recordings that we have available as well. We have also the stories of the prophets, alhamdulillah, and the footsteps of the prophets. And many things you can do, Sheikh, as you said. Don't let the lockdown be your enemy, so to say. Let it be an opportunity.
Yeah, but reading, reading Habibi is not like being with you alive on camera like this, is it?
That's so true, Sheikh. The barakah and the blessing that come from you, Sheikh, and your presence is different.
Allah.
100%, yeah. Next question, Sheikh. By the way, just quickly again, my dear viewers, if you have any questions, please, if you're watching on YouTube, type it in the comment section. We will inshallah answer ask the question from the Sheikh. Instagram, we are live on Instagram Live, and also Facebook. If you don't want to use any of these platforms and you prefer email, you can email us to dailyqa@islam21c.com, and we will forward your questions to the Sheikh, inshallah. Next question. We've got a couple of minutes, Sheikh, so let's do quick fire questions now, inshallah. I've seen Muslims who are good people in their character, but they do not pray. How can we advise them to change, and how should our attitude towards someone be who abandoned the prayer, although their character is good?
Okay, so we take them by the hand and we lead them to pray. That's what we need to do, because that's the first thing you're going to be questioned about Yawm al-Qiyamah. So it's not out of trying to punish them or trying to harm them. It's actually fearing that all of their good will be wasted because they failed at the first step, which is salah. And we need to encourage them and get them and persist in encouraging them until we get them to pray with the tawfiq of Allah. Make dua for them, and may Allah give all of us tawfiq to pray all of our lives, all of our obligations, and increase as much as possible in our prayer, because prayer is the greatest deed that we can do after being Muslim.
Allahu Akbar. Ameen, Shaykhana. And subhanAllah, is as you said, isn't it? Sometimes we're quite critical. Okay, his character is good, but what should we do if we're praying? As you said, literally take him by hand and take him to prayer, or lead the prayer and encourage him, subhanAllah. Jazakallah khair. Part of good character is also to pray, isn't it? Allah musta'an. What advice can you give to the one who finds it hard to cry for Allah Allah is consistent upon good deeds and away from sins? So a person who might be praying, Shaykh, Taraweeh, but he doesn't shed even a tear, and already 15 days have passed. What can a person like this do?
You just don't beat yourself up about it. That's the first thing. Be as sincere as possible to Allah. Be genuine to Allah. Fear Allah in open and in secret. Want Allah's pleasure and His reward. Ask Allah to give you, as in the dua, an eye that weeps for His sake. so that you can have the reward, the extra reward. And the softer your heart becomes, the easier you will find it to cry. And the Prophet, when he was asked that our hearts are hard, he said, if you want talyin qalbik, if you want the softness of your heart, then أطعم المسكين وامسح رأس اليتيم. He said, feed the poor and wipe the head of the orphan. That will give you a soft heart, and when you have a soft heart, it will be easy for you to cry for the sake of Allah. So take the advice of the Prophet.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Next question is, when I make wudu, there's still reminiscences of water in my mouth. Does that break my fast?
La, la, la.
Jazakallah khair. What is the proper time to stop eating suhoor? Is it the beginning time of Fajr as found on the mosque calendar, or the other one?
It had to come on, didn't it? It had to come on. You know, yani someone who asked this question, you know, there's this difference going around, and you have the 18 degrees and you have the 12 degrees. So you have this, and in whichever one you believe to be Fajr, once you believe it's Fajr, you cannot eat. So if you believe the 18 degrees is Fajr, you cannot eat from then. If you believe, no, that's not Fajr, then you take the later time, and by the later time, there's no excuse. No one says that there is time after that time. So, any Fajr.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you very much. Very good, profound answer. There is a last question. How does one balance between pardoning the wife and admonishing her verbally?
Oh, look at this. Look at this. You gave me this question right at the end.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, Shaykh, if the person wants an answer or is just asking for the sake of asking. Allahumma musta'an.
The answer is وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. And be with people with the best of manners, especially your spouse. Okay, for both sides, husband and wife. So, especially in Ramadan, make each other happy, as the Prophet ﷺ said, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ, in the other riwayah, أَفْضَلُ الْأَعْمَالِ. And the best of deeds and the most beloved of deeds to Allah is that you make your Muslim brother or sister happy. So, yani, do things that bring about good, and do it with good manners.
Ahsan, Shaykh. Jazakallah khair. We are in the final hours of Friday, Shaykh. Could you make maybe a dua or give us advice on the importance of the final hour of Friday, as well as it's Ramadan, subhanallah.
Right, all of us knows the famous hadith that talks about Sa'atul Istijaba, or the portion of time on Jumu'ah that Allah accepts dua. So you've got Friday, the last part of Friday, as many of the scholars hold this to be that time where Allah responds to the dua and accepts the dua and answers the dua. And then on top of that, you're a fasting person. And there are 3 people in the hadith that the dua of them is never rejected. One of them is as-sa'im hina yuftir, the fasting person when he breaks his fast. So you've got both of this. You've got the special time, the special deed that you're doing. If you were in a masjid, you would have a special place. Unfortunately, not many of us are in masajid anymore, so you don't have the space, the special nature of the place, but you have a special time. So definitively, this is a time for dua. One thing that I want to remind you all of is that Friday is the time when the Prophet ﷺ told us to increase in our salah and salam upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in one hadith where the companion asked him, I'm going to make such and such amount of my dua for you, the Prophet ﷺ tells him to keep increasing until he says, in fact, I'm going to make all of my dua just for you, giving salah and salam upon you. And the Prophet ﷺ promises him that he's going to be sufficed, his worries are going to be taken away, everything he's going to be given as long as he sticks to salah and salam upon the Prophet ﷺ. Especially for us who have young children who cannot witness Jumu'ah right now, make them know that this is Jumu'ah through salah and salam upon the Prophet ﷺ. So before you break fast today, especially if you have young children around you, I advise all of us as parents to do this, and amongst our families, start doing salah and salam upon the Prophet ﷺ in a voice that is audible, and get them to join in, because then they will know, you know what, and then tell them we're doing this because the Prophet ﷺ wanted us to increase in salah and salam upon him on Friday. And this, in terms of dua, is from the greatest of du'as that you can be making on Yawmul Jumu'ah. And then add to it, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la lahul mulku wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. And these words that we all know of Tawheed, and ask for whatever you want in this time, and especially seeking forgiveness and the removal of all calamities for our Muslim brothers and sisters all around the world and humanity in general.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. Thank you so much. May Allah Jalla ala reward you, elevate your ranks, and allow you to be amongst the companions of the Prophet ﷺ on the Day of Judgment, in which we will enjoy his bliss and his companionship. Ameen. Jazakallah khair for the viewers as well. Thank you very much for tuning in on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again for our next sessions that we have for you in store. Please do go to our website, and please, if you can, donate to this project that we have, Online Masjid. And you can also sign up on our website on islam21c.com. If you have any questions that were not answered in this section, please highlight it to us, and then we will ask in the next section. Please, as the Sheikh said, please don't forget to say salam on the Prophet ﷺ, because this will very increase your love for him, and it will be an indication to Allah Jalla ala that you love him. May Allah Jalla ala allow us to increase in our love for the Prophet ﷺ as a sign of our goodness towards him, so we can get and gain his companionship on the Day of Judgment. With that being said, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
دعائي وابتهالي شاهد لي بافتقاري.
الشيطان الرجيم وما أبرئ نفسي إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء إلا ما رحم ربي إن ربي غفور رحيم. وقال الملك ائتوني به أستخلصه لنفسي فلما كلمه قال إنك اليوم لدينا مكين أمين. قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. وكذلك مكنا ليوسف في الأرض يتبوأ منها حيث يشاء نصيب برحمتنا من نشاء ولا